Our event this year focuses on the genocide in Rwanda 20 years ago, an appalling event that led to the deaths of maybe as many as 1 million people.
I think the whole society, the Rwandan society, was killed. Before you can commit what has been done, before you can kill babies, before you can kill old women in bed. My mother was, at the end, she was lying in the bed. Before you can do all this, you really have to kill the human values, so that you deshumanize the people. They were not killing people. They were Tutsis, they were cockroaches, they were snakes. What was terrible, it is done by your neighbors. It is done by your teachers. It is done by the people you were in church together. So how can you go ahead and leave if you don't trust anymore? What is really amazing, and this is a bit my job, what is amazing, as long as you are still alive, even though you have experienced the worst, there is something still alive in you. And if you have the help, if there is somebody giving you a hand, you will come up. Life is incredible.
Massacres continue in the Central African nation of Rwanda. Rwanda fell into anarchy after its president was killed in a suspicious plane crash early this month.
I was in Geneva, and so I was watching TV from Geneva, from my room, what was happening in Rwanda. My biggest problem came up when I was able to talk to my brother in Kigali, sometimes in April. We found out where he was hiding, and then we were able to talk on the phone. And he said, "Oh, Papa, Daddy has been killed." So he told us our dad was killed. And he said, "I'm not sure if I will survive, but take care of our sibling, those who will survive." That's what he told me. And immediately after we talked, I went to the ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross in Geneva, the headquarters. I asked for an appointment with one of the ladies in charge of Rwanda. I said, "I just talked to my brother. You were there. You have your personnel in Kigali. What can you do? Please do something." And this lady told me, "We can't do anything."
The world was watching. I remember when they came to evacuate the expatriates, to evacuate Americans and Belgians, and so I begged them, "Please, can you take my children? I have a friend in Belgium who was ready to take them. I know my husband is killed, everybody is killed, but at least if the children can survive." They refused, but they took the cat and the dogs of the French people and of the Belgians. So you live with this idea, I'm not worth it. I'm less than a Belgian cat and a French dog.
Atamahoro, UN ensure security.
The UN is planning the deployment of the extra 5,000 troops it's expecting. There's still no certainty about when or even if these troops will arrive.
There were two officials in the State Department, myself and Prudence Bushnell, and as these events began to break, we made an effort, which was a hopeless failure, to try to prevent this presidential directive from being used to require the withdrawal of the UN force from Rwanda.
General. So when are the extra troops going to arrive?
Last week.
Will you send the troop?
Well, what more do you want me to say? I'm waiting here. So send me troops.
That became absolutely impossible after the murder of the Belgian peacekeepers, which in fact, as one looks back from the point of view of those who were planning the genocide, was clearly a test. We're going to murder these peacekeepers and then we'll see what happens in the international community, assuming probably that the same response would occur in Rwanda as had occurred after the murder, after the Black Hawk Down in Somalia, which is withdrawal.
The UN stands condemned for pulling out of Rwanda as the fighting started, leaving the country in the hands of killers wielding machetes.
When Rwanda started, I refused to go. They asked me to go. I got a message from New York, and for 3 weeks I kept on saying no. Specifically, I told them, why are you asking me to witness the price of the failure in Somalia? It was so clear. I mean, I was in Mogadishu with Black Hawk Down. It was so clear that the international community was going to do nothing in Rwanda. And I have a very good friend with whom I've been in Sudan. And for 3 consecutive nights, he called me. I was in Mogadishu, he was in Kigali. He said, Chuck, you have to come. He said, this is nothing, we've never seen this before. You can't imagine what this is like. And so after 3 consecutive nights of talking, I told the UN I'd go. Gromo was right. What happened in Rwanda was completely different from the 20 years of violence that I've seen.
I am waiting for New York to what it's been able to do with all these sovereign countries and the decisions are happening there. The UN does not have dedicated troops, and so sovereign states take the decisions.
In 1993, the UN mission was sent to Rwanda with no human rights component whatever, despite the fact that the UN human rights machinery had produced in a report of the Special Rapporteur on Summary and Arbitrary Executions the most accurate prediction, not a full prediction, but the most accurate prediction of what was coming. That cannot happen today. No United Nations major presence in the field is without a human rights dimension.
So important that, okay, our generation saw it, suffered. We are trying to recover. Our children and the children of our children, it must stop. Because if nothing is done, of course we transmit, without knowing, but we transmit to the new generations. For the Armenian or for the Jews, of the Roma, you have the 3rd, 4th generations who are living with traumata. It is enough, it has done enough damage. It should not go to the next generation.